Recording in progress.
Okay. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Hayward City Hall for our City Council meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. It is February 24th, 2026, and I'd like to call upon Councilmember Syrup to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand if you're able.
Thank you. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54953B, the meeting will include a teleconference location at the West End Phoenix Downtown, 333 North Central Avenue, Phoenix, Arizona, 85004. City Council Member Bonilla Jr. will participate via teleconference from the West End Phoenix Downtown. The agenda was posted at the teleconference location, and the public will have an opportunity to address the City Council. Councilmember Bonilla, are you there?
Yes, I am, Mayor.
Are you able to hear all of us clearly?
Yes, I could, Mayor.
Is there anyone else present with you at the remote location?
Not at this time, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Let the record reflect that Councilmember Bonilla Jr. has confirmed audio connectivity and that no other individuals are present unless stated. Please note that any votes taken during this meeting will be conducted by roll call. With that said, Madam City Clerk, if you please take roll.
Good evening, Mayor. Thank you. Councilmember Andrews?
Present.
Councilmember Bonilla Jr.?
Present.
Councilmember Goldstein?
Present.
Councilmember Roach?
Present.
Councilmember Syrup?
Present.
Councilmember Cermeño? Mayor Salinas?
Present, thank you. I'd like to next call upon Mr. City Attorney Lawson, if he can please give us a closed session announcement.
Thank you, Mayor. There was a closed session that convened at 5:15 for discussion with the city's labor negotiators. Councilmember Medina did participate remotely pursuant to the Brown Act. There was no reportable action, and the closed session adjourned at 6:50. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next is public comment. This is reserved for anybody in the public that would like to make a public comment on something that is not on the agenda. I do have two cards in front of me, and let me see. And I have one caller online. So what I'll do is I'll start with the caller online. Robert Prinz from Bike East Bay.
Thank you, Mayor and council members. This is Robert Prinz, Advocacy Director with Bike East Bay. I'm calling in today to comment and share my condolences with the family and loved ones of the 3 individuals who were killed by drivers while walking in Hayward over just the past 2 weeks, and of the young boy who was seriously injured. I wanted to comment that all of these tragedies were completely preventable. They occurred on Foothill, Tennyson, and Mission, each of these corridors on Hayward's known high injury network. This is a small percentage of city streets where the greatest number of severe injury and fatal crashes occur. The primary issue creating these dangers is driver speed, and the factor that's enabling driver speed on these corridors is street design. So I encourage City Council, staff, Mayor to seek every opportunity to address these known dangers through street design opportunities and to not leave any of those opportunities on the table. Thank you for your continued interest in promoting street safety in Hayward.
Thank you. Our next speaker is it Peter Frederick? And I might be mispronouncing it. Yeah, red is go.
In November of 2020, the Hindu Swayamsevak Sangh organized a community Diwali event, and your former mayor, Barbara Halliday, sat alongside the Consul General of India and the president of HSS America Zone, with mayors from 7 other Bay Area cities, including Livermore and Dublin. The mayor of Livermore presented HSS with a Diwali proclamation. Seva International gave an update on its COVID relief work, and to anyone watching, it looked like community outreach. And yet, HSS is the American wing of India's RSS paramilitary, while Seva International is the RSS's service wing. The event that your mayor attended was not the end of their engagement with this region, it was the beginning. Last September, HSS members walked into the Livermore Police Department, tied bracelets on officers, photographed the ceremony, and the department posted about it on social media, calling it an honor. In Dublin, the city nominated HSS's local chapter for Organization of the Year. Across Greater Sacramento, the Hindu American Foundation, HSS's lobbying partner, collected proclamations from at least 7 cities in 4 months. This is systematic, and it runs through your district. That credibility became lobbying power. HAF used it to destroy SB 509, legislation that would have trained Californian law enforcement to identify foreign government threats against people on American soil. Government threats against people on American soil. Every law enforcement organization in the state backed it, and not a single legislator in either chamber voted against it. And HAF boasts they built a coalition through the governor's office, and Newsom killed the bill last October. Why would a Hindu American advocacy group fight a law enforcement training bill? Congress's own research service classifies HAF as a Hindu nationalist organization, and Jewish Currents magazine found that HAF has consistently advanced the supremacist agenda of India's Modi government, the same government that the DOJ charged with plotting to assassinate an American citizen on our soil. Seva International presented at that 2020 event your mayor attended. The woman who now runs Seva International's government and public relations, vice president over thousands of volunteers, just announced that she is running for this district in Congress. Her name is Rocky Israni. She shares a board with HSS leaders at every level of the organization and with appointees of the Indian government. The campaign website mentions none of this. The proclamations, the police photo ops, the Organization of the Year nominations, those built the infrastructure. And now the infrastructure is fielding a candidate in your district. The network that used your region's credibility to kill a law enforcement training bill is now asking your residents for a seat in Congress. When they come to this council, and they will, now you know who they are. They are asking you to watch this happen. I am asking you not to. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Donna T.
I'm here regarding the budget deficit. And I know on Saturday, the council has a full-day budget, working budget session. I had a chance to review the finance director's general fund, general revenue sources, just as a friendly reminder to the council that this report alone is not the only indicator in determining financial health. You also need an expenditure report to do a comparison. I wanted to let you know how this budget deficit is affecting me personally. My neighborhood is now the new Hayward dump. I live just a half a mile from the city hall, next to the railroad and the BART tracks. Before the budget deficit, I would notify Access Hayward of the trash online. They would come and pick it up. My new response from Access Hayward is, don't email us, email the railroad. Well, the railroad abandoned these tracks 30 years ago. I know the city has some ordinance they invoke when commercial and private property owners abandon or neglect their properties. I've seen this happen to Everett College, to City Center, and a few homes in my area. Why should the railroad not be held accountable? Hayward should challenge the Interstate Commerce Commission and push the Surface Transportation Board to issue final abandonment authorization on these tracks. These protections were established in 1887, 1920, and strengthened in 1995. Getting a final abandonment authorization is critical in removing these protections to the railroad. With the current state of the federal government and the lack of staff, this would be the perfect time to address these issues. Maybe Hayward should contact the cities of El Cerrito and Albany to see how they were able to accomplish this. These cities have turned the tracks into walking paths and biking paths. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Ahmed Shorab.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Ahmed Shorab. I'm here today, first of all, to express my condolences to the families of those who lost their loved ones crossing our streets. 3 community members were killed in a stretch of 10 days. It's completely unacceptable. And I demand accountability from the city to do something about this so it doesn't continue to be a recurring issue. So while I understand Hayward's doing a lot of good work studying safer concepts, we've recognized the high injury network, but this takes years to implement, as we well know, and lives are being lost every day. So while we study those concepts, we need to implement some quick build solution to protect further lives from being lost. Furthermore, we cannot continue to shelve projects like the ones on Hayward Boulevard, when it gets politically difficult, right? I'm stumbling over my words because I'm sleep deprived from my newborn that was born 2 weeks ago. And I'm generally frustrated as a homeowner in the hills that, she's not gonna have a safe route to Bret Hart when it moves across the street from Cal State East Bay, nor to Stonebray once, I'm definitely gonna get her an e-bike when she's old enough, right? So this is the reason why we keep bringing these things up over and over again. So all that being said, I urge, the city, to implement Bike Hayward's demands. We've put together a clean list of a combination of quick build solutions and improve pedestrian safety and outlining shelved projects that should be brought to the forefront. Thank you.
Thank you. Alejandro Hasso.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. We're all really heartbroken by the 3 lives that have been lost again while just crossing the street. These were grandmothers, mothers that were just getting around the city, and they got hit by cars. And I know like our organization is called Bike Hayward, but just want to make it clear that we're not trying to force everyone into riding bikes. The reason why we're Bike Hayward is because the bike lanes are one of the solutions that you can implement to improve safety for people, and then also reduce traffic. Traffic violence is really bad in Hayward right now. And it's become like a major crisis. And I understand the city is doing some work, but also there's been projects that have been shelved, like Ahmed said, because of political concerns. And I just want to make it clear that the city council is supposed to do the right thing. You have a legal responsibility to make sure that the city implements the safety proposals by staff. And also because if you don't, you're not just risking lives, you're also risking further budget deficits. Like in this case, there's going to be lawsuits that are going to be hitting the city. And the same for Hayward Boulevard. Someone got killed right before the Hayward Boulevard safety project was shelved. And if that happens again, that opens the city to lawsuits. Roos Road, that project is supposed to be moving to city council, to full council, and it has not been moved to full council. We cannot continue to delay these projects. That one is already funded, and that one, if that funding is not implemented, the city is risking future funding. $100,000 were spent on the study that allowed that funding to come to Hayward, and we're risking additional funding in the future. It impacts everybody. But also, I'm just really frustrated by the lack of meaningful action. Because I know you're concerned about people complaining against traffic, parking. We understand, but no matter what you do, people are going to complain. And the question is do you want people to complain about traffic, parking, or people actually coming here and explaining that they lost someone, a loved one, because the city didn't move quick enough to implement the safety improvements. So we provided a list of demands. We're asking the city to implement those demands, and please, act quickly to respond to these fatalities. They're not new. They've happened before in similar situations. They'll continue to be happening unless the city takes action. So please take action and let's stop these fatalities, because these are neighbors, these are family members, and these are the people that keep Hayward moving. So please, thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Tyler Dragoni. Hi, good evening, council members. My condolences to the three families that are without loved ones tonight. I want to speak to the idea of this shall not become normalized. I think it's a long time coming that there should be a group to come forward and say, Hayward's roads are unacceptable. What we need is a full, transparent look at how dangerous Hayward's roads are. We need, and you need to demand it. In order to not normalize this, we need you to ask your police to come forward with a report and tell people how this happened and why this keeps happening. The last time I saw NBC Universal in a community was when Wilma Chan was hit and killed by a car. This is becoming normalized, and it should not become normalized. You need to demand full transparency on why this continues to happen. It is not reasonable in Hayward for a grandmother to go and cross the street with her grandchild. So every time that you don't demand a full, transparent accountability of what happened, you are sending the wrong message. You are sending the message that Hayward's roads are safe. They're not safe. You need to be able to have the courage to be able to fully, in the light of day, maybe at the infrastructure meeting. That would be a great place to question why this continues to happen. We, as community members, are left picking up the breadcrumbs. Were the lights working? Were they not working? Was speed a factor? Was it not a factor? You know, were they in the crosswalk? Were they not in the crosswalk? You know, all of that's immaterial because we don't get it from an official source, and you need to be that official source. So the city of Oakland has a bike ped commission, and this is exactly what that commission is charged with. And one of the reasons why is exactly what I said. So why don't we do that too? Are pedestrians any less worthy of the actual look at what, you know, and how Hayward's roads are so unsafe? I'm really uncomfortable because if 3 families were without loved ones tonight and Wilma Chan had been killed at the hand of an assailant, the entire community would be would have a conniption fit, and it's not right that we're normalizing this. Thank you. Thank you. Our next speaker is Heather Reyes. Oh, okay. I will hold on to that. Okay, I do not have any more public comment cards. I have one more public comment online. William Lynn.
Yeah, is this for public comment for?
Public comments. If you can speak on anything that is not on the agenda.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna speak on the safety of downtown. I've been driving for downtown for many years now. I'm not a resident of Hayward, but I visit downtown to go to places like the Gurdwara and other places in downtown. Now, the thing that I want to complain about is the safety. Our roads should be designed where people don't have to worry about turning when they know that they should be going straight, that there is another road they can turn off to. Like if you're going from all the way from Tennyson all the way to downtown, you can either go past the McDonald's, you can go straight, or you can turn right on going towards that church there. And so that is a confusing part. And another part is the confusing where you have to merge multiple lanes to get to the right lane when you're stuck in the far left lane when you're coming towards that McDonald's again from Tennyson. So that is a very confusing thing. So what we need to fix is we need to keep everybody to where they don't have to merge 3 separate lanes just to get to the far right lane and turn, and don't have to, you know, squeeze in. That is a safety issue. Another issue is there's not enough lights. Like coming off Mission, going towards St. Regis, there's not enough of that light that, you know, either the red light for the pedestrians or the flashing. There's one near the gas station, like in the middle of that, but not where they just come off of. Some people don't stop for the red light, or some people, you know, run the red light, and we've seen that multiple times. And so the way that we design Hayward Loop is very confusing and very unsafe. Even as someone like my dad who has experienced, he tried driving in Hayward, he even got confused. And even my mom won't try it because she feels unsafe about it. So I hope that the city of Hayward would, instead of spending money on road improvements or pavements and tax people, will actually think about the safety of the people and residents of Hayward and visitors of Hayward, because one life lost is too many lives. And even if people are careless or people are distracted, we should be moving forward and having productive ways to solve this situation, that being proactive instead of reactive. Because if it was your family member or your friends and family, what would you say when they get hit by a car? So you need to think about that, because we vote you in to serve the people and protect the people, not to help, you know, or protect the people that are doing this. Because Californians, they don't have good driving skills, because we are not required to go to driving school after 18. So many people drive like they don't care, or many people don't have licenses. So we need to think about all these solutions that not everyone's going to follow the rule, and not everyone, because there's a road in Fresno, if you see that YouTube channel, Fry and Roulette, that those people, they don't stop for that red light. They just run the red light. So many people do that, and they don't have even red light cameras there. So we should also add red light cameras. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I don't have any more public comments, so I'm going to come back. But before I go to city manager's comments, what has happened over the last couple of weeks, of course, has been tragic. Nobody up here on the council, nobody here in the city likes to see the loss of life on any street in our city. All three incidences are still under investigation, and we're still working through that process. They take time, but on behalf of the city, and particularly on behalf of the council and staff, I wanted to send our condolences and assure the family that we will be producing the reports in due time. So with that, I'd like to turn to our city manager for her reports, and I do know that she has some comments regarding roads.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. I'd like to use this opportunity to make some comments this evening to address the pedestrian safety on our streets. As you, the community, and those gathered here this evening are aware, we did experience 3 pedestrian fatalities in a 10-day period between February 7th and February 17th. Each of these deaths are tragic, and I want to extend our condolences to the families and the loved ones of those killed. While I'm not able to speak to the specifics of these incidents, which remain under investigation and internal review, I do want to touch on what we are doing in their aftermath and have been doing over the longer term to make our streets safer. First, we are establishing a fatal crash response program under which an interdepartmental group of staff from the police department, public works, transportation, and engineering divisions review the results of the police investigations, conduct site visits, and propose any quick build fixes if appropriate. We will be doing this for all 3 locations of our recent incidents. I will say within a matter of weeks, we will have some quick build improvements to Tennyson and Baldwin, including a high visibility crosswalk at Baldwin, some other yield lines and other things that will be some painted red curbs to improve visibility at the corner. So we will be making those quick build changes within a matter of weeks. Second, we are scheduling a council work session on street safety in March. I think this will be March 24th, but stay tuned. To discuss the city's near-term and mid-term plans for making Hayward streets safer and hear further from the community and share ideas. In preparation for this meeting, we will evaluate our capital budgets to make sure we have sufficient funds and staff resources allocated to street and neighborhood safety projects. Third, we will be partnering with community agencies and organizations providing housing and other services to our vulnerable populations to raise awareness of street safety practices among their residents. Additionally, the police chief will continue to strategically deploy traffic enforcement resources, which are limited, but deploy them to the city's high injury corridors and intersections. And lastly, I want to highlight 2 planning projects currently underway to transform a set of streets that are part of our high injury network. These roadways with the highest rates of serious injury and fatal collisions. There's 2 projects. One is called the Safe Streets Downtown, the other Safe Streets Hayward. And Safe Streets Downtown is focused on the Hayward Loop, while Safe Streets Hayward is focused on A and B streets and Tennyson Road. And these projects have been initiated under the Hayward Local Road Safety Plan, which was adopted by the City Council in 2023, which established our Vision Zero policy objective of reducing all traffic fatalities and serious injuries to 0 by the year 2050. The best way for the public to learn and get involved in these Vision Zero inspired street transformation projects, and they're actively seeking outreach, so I strongly encourage everyone to get involved now, would be to start by reading a recent article in the city's newsletter, The Stack, which appeared on January 30th of this year, and that you can access that at hayward-ca.gov/help-redesign-hayward-streets. So I'm sure if you Google that, you can also find that. But thank you, Mayor Salinas. Members of our team are available to respond to any questions that you or other members of the council may have at this time.
Thank you. Yeah, Councilmember Andrews.
Is it possible to have the report at the Public Safety Committee or the Infrastructure Committee of the items that you just listed?
Yes, the report of these items or the
The
assessments from the fatal crash?
Assessments and the items that you mentioned?
Yes, we can, yeah, our infrastructure committee, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I will close city manager comments, and then tonight we have a special presentation by our HARD partners, our Hayward Area Recreation District. I wanted to acknowledge three of our elected colleagues in the area. We have HARD Director Andrade is here with us. We have HARD Director Hatcher is here with us. And of course, no stranger to the chamber, we have HARD Director Lamnin in the room with us today. So welcome all of you. We do have a presentation by the general manager, Mr. Wheeler, and he's got his illustrious staff here. And with no further ado, I'd like to bring Mr. Wheeler up to the podium. But I just, as he's making his way to the podium, I did want to say on behalf of the city, HARD has been a partner with the city of Hayward for many, many years, and I know I'm not the only one in this room that grew up at HARD Parks and community centers, particularly at Weeks Park, were my babysitter, in fact. I think I am of the age now that I still remember in the back of Weeks of the park back there, used to be a pond back there. Now it's barbecue pits, or I don't know if it's still barbecue pits back there, but there used to be, and the totem pole. But we used to fish for crawdads back there. But HARD, no doubt, has been a part of lives for generations of folks here in the city. And I've said it before up here, and I'll say it again, but HARD, Mr. Wheeler, you are the general manager, literally, of the city's park district. And you and your team have really leveled up the park district. And what many folks may not know in the city, that as you're presenting, over the last 5 or so years, your agency and through your leadership and the board's leadership, have really revolutionized the parks. And I know you're going to go into some of this stuff, but in addition to that, all of your sponsorships to maintain and to continue some of the biggest, most fun events in the summertime, the street parties and other events around, big events around town. You have stepped up, the board has stepped up, your staff has stepped up to make sure that regardless of budget situations, that the city and the greater Hayward area continues to enjoy these wonderful events and really pulls the community together. So on behalf of the council, on behalf of the city, Mr. Wheeler and the board, thank you very much for everything. So with that, Mr. Wheeler, the podium is yours.
Okay, I think the red means on here, not green. Good evening, Honorable Mayor, Honorable Council members. It's very nice to see you. City Manager Ott, City Attorney Lawson, Assistant City Manager Thomas. I want to really quickly introduce some people that are here in the audience with us tonight. Our HR Risk Management Director, Natalie Wong, Director of Recreation Arts Community Services, Adrian Lee Bird, Director of Capital Planning, Megan Tiernan, Public Safety Manager of our Ranger Division, Jose Gutierrez, and Nicole Roa, who is our PIO and Government Relations person. Okay, 78 slides, 3 minutes apiece. That's 210 minutes. Just kidding. This will not take as long as you think in the package. So it's really a pleasure to be here tonight. You may be aware that the master lease agreement between the city and HARD basically states that once a year we'll come and give you an annual report. We're thrilled to be here for the first time to do that. Kind of glad we waited. We've spent the last 5 years really trying to do a lot of different initiatives to try to make us a more efficient and better park district. If you have your packet, you saw the PowerPoint. The slide just basically tells you what our mission is, when we were developed, and how we're governed. We are governed by a 5-member board of directors, 3 of whom you've recognized tonight. Secretary Peter Rosen has had 2 other events to be at tonight, and Director Paul Hodges is recovering from knee surgery. This year was a good year for us. We transitioned from at-large elections to by-district elections. You can see our new electoral zones are in that picture above you. We developed board orientation and training opportunities to better prepare our boards to lead, and we did a district strategic plan last year. We did our first year of strategic monitoring. We feel we're pretty good on our way for that plan. In the district, we have 5 major offices: the general manager's office, administrative services, capital planning and development, parks and facility maintenance, recreation, arts and community services, and you kind of see what they're associated with on the bottom. I do want to say that there are absolutely no stock photos in this presentation. Every photo, about a year ago, we hired a communication analyst. I said, no more stock photos, use Hayward Parks, use Hayward people when we go out to promote. So this is about the 270 different little amenities and facilities that we operate across the district. This slide here is more Hayward specific to the elements. If you're aware, 52% of the district is the city of Hayward, 48% is unincorporated, Alameda County, San Lorenzo, Castro Valley, Ashland, Cherryland, Fairview, and Hayward Acres. As you can see, there's a lot of parks and facilities, and we'll tell you what we've been doing with them. This is just a map. We do have a map of district amenities. We developed a trail map. This is our facility inventory map, so you have it for your future look if you want to see where our boundaries go or what parks and kind of facilities we have, where there's future potential parks. I think the thing I'm the most proudest right now of my staff and what we've worked on is that we're actually presenting at a state conference. We presented at a state Park and Rec Directors Summit on our data-driven decision-making. So as you are aware, one of the main things when I took over as general manager is that why don't the parks in South Hayward look like the parks in some other places, Castro Valley, the Hills? They do now. If you have been around and looked at parks, they are green, they are clean. Our #1 battle is graffiti. We've hired another painter. We're working on community solutions to that. So we really are moving along in that. But our average maintenance score for our parks is 87%. The first round, our average scores were 83%. I said, there is no way, that's too high. So we went back, we made the grading standards harder to try to get more reflective of what was true. But after our 5th cycle, we're feeling pretty good about where they're going. They continue to improve. We use these park evaluation scores, and as you know, we use Placer AI. Placer AI allowed us to say that I think 5.7 million people visited Hard Parks last year. 2 million people came from outside of Hayward to Hayward Parks, 55% of our users. So Placer AI, we could tell you how many people went to downtown streets, how it grew every quarter. So the idea is, here's a park evaluation score. Why is this park score low? Placer AI, too many people? I don't know. We use Verizon Network Fleet to track our vehicles. Are the vehicles spending enough time there? It tells you when they start, when they stop, what their routes are. And the real goal is just to try to be more efficient with our workforce. So do we need more park workers, or do we need better routes and more efficiencies, which we're finding out from that. You can see the top 10 parks visited: Oliver, San Lorenzo, Kennedy, Castro Valley Community Park, and Mika State Park across the district. So we also did a community needs assessment, survey and needs assessment, and what I'd like to say is that we surveyed 360 people. We cut the district into 6 sections, 60 interviews, 15 to 20 minutes each, and we got a survey back that was 95% reliable with a 3% error margin. We feel really good about that data. And we use that data to find out what facilities and programs does the community want. We know for a fact that they'd like to see a better swim center somewhere in Hayward eventually. They want more community gardens. They want open space and trails as the #1 facilities, amenities. And then programming-wise, they want special events, which is why we decided that we would really want to help and keep special events alive and grow and build them. other new initiatives. We did core programming models that tells us what are our core programs, what are community benefit, what are community individual benefit, what are high individual benefit. We can take these different programs, put them in these stacks, and figure out if it's free, low cost, no cost, or private golf lessons where we might make a little bit of money. Equity-based programming has been huge, and you'll see some of our partner initiatives as we go on. We've been doing updated program and user evaluations. Again, data, trying to make sure that we're a public agency that does what the people we serve want and what our partner agencies are asking for and deserve. And again, assets were based on, the survey results. We are really focused on accessibility. We've spent a lot of our bond money on pathways, parking lots, ADA transitions, old parking lots, a half an inch too much slope, it's not legal. We created a district-wide inclusion working group with participants from our Sorensdale daycare program for developmentally disabled adults. We have people from our program users, people from aquatics, and they come together every other month and give us feedback on our programs, parks, and facilities. We expanded the Adapt Recreation program and our program Access for All, where we do intakes for people who want to be in a camp or a program, and we assess and see how we can make sure their inclusion and their experience is good. Grew by 280% last year. So we've really almost quadrupled that in the last 3 years. And then, of course, like everyone, we have an ADA transition plan, which drives a lot of what we're doing, Safer Parks Packs. This is the improvements behind Sorensdale Park you see that we did at that center. In my office, we focused a lot on emergency management. I'm very, very concerned about what's going to happen if there's a large regional disaster. So we developed an emergency operations center handbook, how we run the operations center, emergency operations plan, how we interact with other agencies, and how we go about our business in the district. Every single employee who works for the Hayward Area Recreation and Park District in a full-time capacity has been through ICS training to the level appropriate for them. And our focus now is on interagency agreements, County Alameda, City of Hayward. How do we get the shelters open? How do we deploy? And so we are actually just created an emergency management administrative assistant position to help us do that. The last thing we did was we developed a critical communication plan for whatever crisis might arise. I worked in the city and county of San Francisco when a park worker hit someone with a truck in a park and killed them. So for us, we took every possible scenario that might happen in a pool, a rec center, a place. We also workplace violence prevention planning, which was implemented. We have a workplace violence prevention plan for 120 of our facilities. Parks and Recreation is the answer to so many social issues, from physical health to mental wellness.
Post-pandemic, we've seen a lot of kids really suffering from a lack of socialization.
People are becoming more anxious, a little bit more distressed, and trying to work their way through this.
The Hayward Area Recreation and Park District is a special district. We provide park services and recreation services for 308,000 residents that live across 114 square miles.
Recreation RX is part of a greater health equity initiative, and how it works is a client will see their healthcare provider at Tiburcio Vasquez Health Center and receive a recreation prescription. They may be at risk for heart disease, diabetes, or just a need to get outside to relieve anxiety. And so the healthcare provider really knows the benefit of our important services and gives them a prescription to take advantage of some of the amazing things we have to offer.
You can go to a doctor and you can get a prescription for medication. This is the same concept. Buy a health clinic writing you a recreation prescription that gives you all the information you need to contact the Recreation and Park Department, and then be able to go out and participate in programs that are scholarship for free. It's kind of this full circle answer to trying to get people referred into healthy activities. So as it turns out, we were recognized by the California Special District Association, selected of 2 out of 3,200 special districts, and highlighted for our role in mental health. This was done for all the legislators in Sacramento, legislators back in Washington. I think about 90 of those electeds watched this. The other organization was San Ramon Fire for their role in sending out health workers with the fire department. Okay, in the Administrative Services Department, This is just a little look at the budget. 77% of our funding comes from property taxes and special assessment revenue, rental fees and concessions, grants, and then other could be investments and things like that. We're a $46.6 million annual budget. In this slide, you'll see that in 2017, we adopted a reserves policy, which we had never had. And we met those targets by 2022. It's balanced. We do 10-year long-range forecasting. And I think one of the things I'm proudest of is that even with me, we got a AAA credit rating from Moody's when we went back to sell our last round of bonds. And then we, of course, established internal service funds for major equipment replacement and started a 115 pension trust for our PERS liability. In human resources, this just gives you some numbers of how many people they've recruited in the last year. I think I'm proudest of the fact that in the last 2 years, we've increased our workforce by 15 full-time employees, or 10%, while still being able to balance that budget. And we do want to point out we are the largest employer of youth in the district. We had 146 hourlies hired just for summer alone. There's another 100 that are usually on the books. I think some of the things, we're developing more training, we're doing succession planning, we're trying to build our bench strength for the next generation. We're using a learning management system to track all of our training. And we've been really good at workplace engagement. This is actually the first day class I taught at our safety day. And bandage them all up and take a picture. Kind of proud of our movement in IT. 4.5 years ago, we were told that we had 57 of our 92 laptops were running Windows platforms that were no longer supported. So we've modernized that across. We had 6 servers that just kept getting stacked. Now we have remote secret server location in addition to the one in the district office. It's been replaced. We're implementing Tyler Munis ERP system right now. We're in about year 1.5 to 2 years. And it's the first year we're actually doing our budgeting in it. We had just developed an IT disaster recovery and business continuity plan, and we are starting to migrate our stuff into the clouds to get it off those servers. In recreation and arts, we will show you this program that we're about to show you actually just won a local District 3 California Park and Recreation Society award, and we just bagged a statewide. They give one programming award, and this is what we got.
Throughout our 80 years, Hayward Area Recreation and Parks District has been a beacon of creativity and cultural enrichment in our community, passionately delivering programs that have inspired and engaged individuals of all ages. This year, we had the opportunity to have a profound impact on South Hayward through the creation of a free after-school arts program offering a diverse range of artistic experiences, from painting and sculpture to cultural dance, music, and theater. By joining together local teaching artists and elementary-aged youth from nearby schools at Weeks Community Art Center, we were able to provide a safe and inclusive environment where every child could explore their creativity, build confidence, foster teamwork, and encourage personal growth. By investing in the arts and offering these programs free to participants, we are investing in the future of our community. These programs not only nurture the next generation of artists, but also cultivate compassionate, innovative, and well-rounded individuals. The benefits extend beyond the individual participants, enriching our entire community and fostering a culture of creativity, inclusivity, and well-being.
For my son who has autism, the Access for All program that HARD does has just been phenomenal. In our San Lorenzo School District, we don't have art classes like this, so when I saw that this was available, it was perfect for our kids to give them an introduction to the ceramics, to the digital art that we did.
Yo tengo 2 hijos que han estado, but I have 2 children who have been benefiting from these programs. First of all, I want to thank the people who are financially supporting these programs so they can be offered for free. Ofrecer gratuitamente.
¿Cómo ayuda este programa a mis hijos? And this program helps my children a lot because it teaches them to do things they never knew they could, like making different designs in ceramics, things that are interesting to them.
This is a painting I made. It's a huge axolotl with a lot of hands, and then we have the little fish. I really like this because I always really like the ocean, and my favorite creature from the ocean is the axolotl. Then just one of my favorite classes, the animation, we got to make little creatures, and then we made a stop motion film.
The methods of art
animation, pottery, ceramics. They came home every day with examples of new things that they learned.
I had a lot of fun making this.
Okay. We're getting there. 16 minutes. Recreation and Community Services, some numbers. Nearly 40,000 registrants through our fee classes in 2024, 5,000 youth served through summer camps. So 53. We have basically doubled the people we serve in the last 5-6 years since the pandemic. I don't like to talk about pre-pandemic anymore, but it's kind of an impressive number. 200,000 plus through senior centers, aquatic centers, and 42 special events. And I think one of the things we're proudest of is that we have 50 community, nonprofit, and agency partners that we waived fees for to use buildings and parks for things that serve the community at a value of about $200,000. Recreation for All, again, we talked a little bit about the inclusion program, 400% increase in our amount of scholarships awarded in the last year. HARD's Health Equity Initiative, over $1.2 million in free programs since 2022. I'd be remiss if I didn't credit Hayward Promise Neighborhood for some of that money. We were able to do some school sports programs and other things from some one-time funding we received. Fortunately, the school sports programs, our foundation's going to pick up, and so we're going to be able to get that back on the ground. 1,400 free weeks of summer camp, 9,000 free swim lessons. We had basically the last 2 summers. Last summer we had Arroyo and Sunset. This summer we had Arroyo Pool open for free programs, equity and arts and outdoor access, and then of course mobile recreation and special events. I think there's like about 50 special events we did last year in addition to the large community-wide events. The after-school arts education program at the Weeks Arts Center now. Play Hard after-school sports leagues we referenced. So these are just programs we've done. We've really focused on teen programming. I think we had a Bake a Cake event with 40 teens at it just 2 weeks ago. So it's starting to work. We're starting to figure out with the Youth Commission and our youth ambassadors and the foundation what kids want. Looking forward, the Hayward Shoreline Interpretive Center, which was previously Marsh Interpretation, is now shifting to sea level rise and climate change. We worked with partners at Hayward Unified School District, the 5th grade teachers, their curriculum, and right now we're in the middle of putting a couple $100,000 in redesign and new displays that address sea level rise at that center. Adaptive sports programming is growing. We started doing that with kids at the schools. We have a high and low ropes challenge course that we just finished. Will be opening. $100,000 CDC grant to do free swim lessons and drowning prevention for children at Cherryland Elementary School. And of course, we opened the Alameda Agricultural History Center at Mika State, which now has an interpretive center. Parks and facility maintenance, I think these are those are sheep. I thought they might be the goats that attacked the librarian's garden, but I guess not. So parks and facility maintenance, again, it's all data driven right now. I think we're really proud of the energy efficiency projects. We're spending about $17 million on projects that we got a lot through capital bond one-time changes, and the net is, I think, $20 million over 30 years, or 22 years, I think. So big payback, HVAC. We're also replacing pumps and wells at places like Mission Hills, Rowell Ranch, Kennedy Park, and places where we had wells that went out of service, and we were actually fortunate enough to get permission to redo the wells to try to drop our water use, which will help your water department. Safety initiative, safety in the parks is one of our largest concerns right now. Our park rangers, de-escalation training, our other park initiative, of course, is CARB, Clean Air Resources Board, electric vehicles, and we're adding electric vehicles to our fleet, charging sessions at our site. And I think the biggest one I'm excited about, again, is the graffiti abatement program implementation. It's one of the largest detractors of higher park scores. New signs at parks. You can see an example for Palmacia. Maps of our trails, the Hayward Community Garden, which will soon have the City of Hayward Compost Center attached to it. They're on Berry Street at the Greenway. Tree nursery, we started with 100,000 trees. They kind of slowly shifted into, so now we're working with other organizations, and we'll be crop rowing the back half of the garden, which currently has 70 20 by 20 plots. And then we have 22 FEMA mitigation projects that have been going on forever back to the floods that we're working on, including the Medrano property, and the plan will be spending about $1.5 million on repairs to taper the park in the Medrano area. Okay, we're just about done. Capital and planning, created in 2017, when Measure F1 passed by 78%. $250 million bonds, we sold it in three tranches. We have one left. But I think the proudest thing is they passed a $250 million bond, and we've matched and raised $55 million in grants for new parks and trails because we had that money. You can look at us at Hard at Work on our website. So current projects. Bidwell Community Center anticipated to start anytime now. The redoing of the Bidwell School, you can see the floor plan for that center. We really think it'll be fantastic. We kept the old multi-purpose room. D and Clay, and 1350E, this is one property that runs from D Street over to E Street. We purchased that, and it's currently in design development phase, and this will become Carol Pereira Park, our 40-year acting board member who grew up on a farm very close to the site. So we thought this would be an appropriate place. Mount Eden Park is getting a lot larger renovation. We did just complete a bigger, brand new, better playground there, and we continue to work. You can see there will be some pickleball court additions, so keep 2 tennis, add some pickleball, lights, better fields, and one of the fitness courts that we've been adding. We're right in the middle of spending. I think it's a little more than $5 million at this point, because this is like peeling up not only an onion, but a very old onion. So we keep going through. You can see the scaffolding in the building right there. We get up to the roof for roof replacements, but this should be completed next summer. Completed projects, 2 sports fields and all is in 2019, $2.3 million, and the visitor numbers are on the bottom for year. Mission Hills Golf Course driving range completed in 2019. We added 10 top tracer stalls. It was a $3.3 million, and you can see that's a really high number. The golf course is as busy or busier than it's ever been. Fitness courts, we put in, you may have seen these, we put in 3 of these already in partnership with the National Fitness Campaign. Eden Greenway, Tennyson Park, Oliver Alden, and there will be 3 more put in, Bidwell, Birchfield, and Mount Eden Parks. We'll also get, the idea here is that everyone should have access to a place to work out at no cost. And so they'll be spread across the district. The Hayward Community Garden, again, we just talked about it, 70 20 by 20 plots, completed, and now we're getting ready to work on what we call the back 40 that will connect around to the compost center. The Hayward Senior Center, also a 2019 completion, almost $6 million. I think you might have been there for the opening. It gets about 22,000 visitors a year. Kennedy Park, 2022. This was a $19 million. We scraped the whole thing, started over, went to an electric train instead of the gas train, added the teacup ride you see in the large playgrounds. I think we added 11 picnic areas for a total of 22 group picnic areas that are pretty much rented all the time, plus all the additional free picnic areas for people who can't afford to rent one on a first-come, first basis. And we don't get a lot of complaints about I couldn't get down there, so I think that's working. Palmacia Park, another $1.5 million renovation, beautiful new playground, storybook, the story trail, so you can walk through the park and read the stories. You can see the slides and new signage, so we're very happy with how Palmacia came out. Southgate, tennis courts that people were teaching dance on, turned into pickleball courts, super popular, brand new playground there, Salinas, and Councilmember Zamenio and I think Councilmember Rochi were at the opening for this park. We did put disc golf in this section of the Greenway, and we plan on doing it more. People are like, it's not very exciting. I said, no, but it's a great place to learn, straight shots down the Greenway. So very, very proud of that park. Mia's All Ability Playground, of course, everyone's aware of, but maybe you have or have not seen phase 2 of that park, where we put in our first pump track. And you can see the visitors in 2025 to that park are 21,000, and it wasn't open for all of 2025 by any means. We also have All Ability Bank Shot. Weeks Community Park, we've put just under $1 million in this park. We've redone all the court surfaces, the basketball courts, the pickleball courts, and all-weather sports court. We put in 2 more large group picnic areas. We've actually probably spent more than that $72K because the picnic areas were additional. Good visitors. We know that this park's challenging. This is our next community project to try to figure out how to make this safer and more useful. We have 4 above ground skate parks. One is at Stratford Village Park, and we replaced that and 3 others this year. So our old above ground skate parks are all usable now, all driven by a kid named Max in San Lorenzo who said, how come my skate park doesn't look good? So we'll take care of that. The trail maps and signage, this project gets accepted at our board meeting next Monday night. You can see now Greenbelt Trail, good signage. The trails are delineated on the sign. There's a marker telling you what trail you're going down, and our staff is in the process of putting mile markers all the way down these trails, so if someone gets in trouble, they can say where they are. Basketball court renovations. This is just one list of 3 phases of basketball and tennis court renovations. We're kind of doing them everywhere. And the energy efficiency projects I told you about, it was $12 million. Oh, that's better numbers. $12.5 million for $29 million return in cost savings over 20 years. So we're very happy about that. And this is the Shoreline Interpretive Center, which got some solar panels. Lastly, our regional projects, we constructed a futsal court next to the Hayward Adult School in the area. This was given to the Deputy Sheriff's Activity Leads to operate. And it's been going pretty good over there. 4 small or 2 full size. Sulphur Creek Nature Center, you can see the new outdoor classroom and some of the improvements we've done there. We are currently in a campaign to raise $10 million to rebuild the Sulphur Creek Nature to bring it up to a Alexander, Lindsay, or other type level of a real regional. More drive-in. As you're aware, we bought the property up at the top of the hill, that house next to your water tank. We're going to level that down, make the entrance wider, buses turn around, drop-offs, more school field trips, just like the Shoreline will be. Unity Park, right on the corner of Mission and Maddox. We knocked down the Coca-Cola bottling plant. We put this park in. It's been highly activated and used by people who roll, people who play paddleball, people who play basketball. And the idea is that it may not be this Unity Park configuration forever. Someday the tennis, pickleball, and basketball courts might remain, but there could be a different kind of facility, maybe a gym with a fitness center, a low-cost or free fitness center for the community in Ashland and Cherryland. The Agricultural History Center at Meek Park, we took the carriage house. You can see the interior historic displays now have been done. We have an agricultural demonstration garden, and we're working with our friends at the Historical Society to do field trips. Could be all these field trips are free. Sulphur Creek, the Interpretive Center, no cost to the school district. And the kids could come, go into the carriage house, see the garden, and go get a tour of the Meek Estate, and maybe even cook stuff in the kitchen at the Cherryland Community Center that comes out of the garden. This is one of my most exciting things. This would be the challenge course that we're building now. Our plan is to hopefully have an opening for the Hayward Youth Commission, you, the City Council, our board, and the School Board of Trustees as our first kickoff. I think we said maybe March 28th. Checking the calendars, but that's where our tentative, sometime by the spring, this will be open. Free camps, free programs, free field trips. As you may be aware, we've received $27 million in grant funds to do the San Lorenzo Creekway Trail, a 7-mile trail that run from the Shoreline to the Ridge Trail. Super excited about that. It's an east-west connection that you don't find so much. And then our foundation is just is just doing really well. The Ambassador program, they've aligned. They're raising money for us. We even have some people, foundation funding people to go love hard on a Ninja Warrior stage. So. Thank you.
Thank you. I would stand corrected, but Mr. City Attorney, don't we have an ordinance of goats attacking librarians' gardens? Isn't there an ordinance somewhere?
I doubt it, Mayor.
I can tell you that I know for a fact that the people who provide the goats have a lot of insurance, so we're okay.
Whatever it is, it just sounds illegal. But also, as I saw the Heritage House or the one of the last slides, I couldn't help but to think about, the city of Hayward parked in our water treatment plant. We have a streetcar. And man, we're looking for someone to renovate it. And I got Danny McGallis standing right behind you. So if he's got a streetcar, we'll deliver it.
The executive director of the Historical Society has asked me about a streetcar, 2 carriages, and all kinds of other things that we would try to someday find a place for. And I think we could probably find a place for that. The problem is it's not like the old days when we had the old fire engine or plane or at the park where you can climb all over and cut yourself open. It's so changed now that you couldn't put that somewhere, and it's too valuable a resource, but I hear you.
Before I call on council, what I'm going to do is, since I only have one card here, I'm going to ask Heather Reyes if you wanted to come up. Public comment. And this is regarding this, right? Yeah. Okay,
yes,
perfect.
It is.
Yeah.
It is so, first of all, I'm Heather Reyes and a community school specialist over at Tyrell Elementary. And one of the things that wasn't really highlighted on, and I wanted to really bring to the council's attention, was last year we had what was called the Play Hard program. And because our kids, when they survey, they want activities. And they wanted volleyball and they wanted soccer to start with. And so we ended up starting with the volleyball and basketball. And then in March, we had our first games against Glassbrook. And I don't know that any other elementary schools have done that. So it was extremely exciting. I was emotionally overwhelmed. It was an unbelievable, with the parents, and I don't think our NPR at Tyrell has ever heard that much noise. One of the benefits of the program, we didn't look at it as a sports program. We looked at it as a self-improvement with a sports element. And we had 2 students that were constantly getting referrals for fighting and bad choices. By the end of May, when this whole program was done, a lot less referrals to the office, and the growth in these individuals in conflict time was amazing. So kudos to the coaches that were there and teaching us. Some of the 6th graders, they went on with the skills that they learned, and they are competing in the sports at middle school and 7th grade, which usually doesn't happen until 8th grade. One of our teachers said it changed the trajectory of our school with having all of the sports and the partnership with the hard. Teachers, when they walked out of their classroom and were going home for the day, they got emotional seeing all our kids having fun and being a team. Our attendance increased, our referrals went down. This year, the students are still wearing the jerseys that they got last year that were beautifully designed. And I think for me, one of the most wonderful things that happened was my daughter is one of those hourly employees for HARD, and because of that and the work that she did and the impact that she saw being around the kids, she changed her major from being a veterinarian to becoming a school teacher. So it was a positive all the way around, and the impact to our students was huge, and I look forward to it coming back again. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Tyler Dragoni.
Thank you. I really was heartened to see that the Eden Greenway was a part of HARD's overall projects, and I think that it's a really great asset for the city of Hayward. Its practicality is a little bit challenged, though. It has a freeway that cuts down the middle of it. I believe maybe like a year or so back, the city actually applied for a grant to try and cross that freeway. So one of my questions is, can HARD also look for grants and try to make the greenway like more accessible, more practical for area residents, and then also for sticking with the Eden Greenway. The sidewalks actually there's no pedestrian wheelchair ramp to get from one segment to the greenway to the other. And so you have to like divert, if you're walking or on a bike, you have to divert like almost to someone's like driveway, then go up on the sidewalk and then go back to the greenway. So I was just wondering, since you both are in the room, two agencies in the room, whose responsibility is it to construct and pay for the accessible wheelchair ramp onto the street? Is it the Park District's responsibility, or is it the city's responsibility? I'd like that question answered.
Thank you. Let's see, I don't have any other, hold on, before you come up. Let me see. Okay, seeing no more public comment, I'll come back up here to the dais, and I did see. I want to see if he doesn't have his hand raised, but I just wanted to check in with Councilmember Bonilla. Do you have any questions or comments or anything?
Thank you, Mayor. First off, I just want to say thank you to General Manager Willer and his entire team. The work that's being done at HARD is incredible, and it's just so amazing to see the impact that it's having in our community and to see how the work that's being done is centered in an equity lens. So just really appreciate the intentionality behind that. I know you said that Weeks Park is something that, is coming up on your horizon of strategic planning, but just wanted to know sort of how you're thinking about, renovations there and perhaps the homelessness issue and, what kind of partnerships you're thinking about to potentially solve those.
Well, the homelessness issue at Weeks Park, there's been a task force that we've been working on homeless issues with the city of Hayward in regard to a removal of blight and property and things that generally get left behind. We have an approach with our rangers. They meet regularly. I think for me, the largest challenge at Weeks Park right now is just the nefarious activities that occur at night when the park's closed. We've looked at park redesigns. We're looking at maybe perimeter fencing with large 20-foot roller gates that can get open in the morning so you feel like you can walk in from four sides of that park. And then maybe we can secure it at night, like just this weekend, trash can fires, pallets being burned, domestic violence. We've had someone stabbed in the restroom there about 3 months ago. So it's pretty high on our radar to do some environmental design. We have some bond funds left to do some minor improvements to that, maybe a parking lot down on one side where you could drive in easier to see what's going on in the park and out for police and rangers. So we'll start the community process again on that park. We did a bunch of work, but there's still another phase to do in there, and so we'll engage everybody. The hole that was a pond, the totem pole that's just so sacred, that's just kind of rotting away. There's some things to fix in that. We had $950 million in deferred maintenance 10 years ago when we passed that bond, and now it's 10 years later, and we've gotten to maybe a quarter of it. So
makes sense. Thank you for that. I know that that's a hot area. And then two more quick questions. First is around the recreation for RX. I really like that idea, but is there any way that that program might be expanded so that perhaps those prescriptions can be written by, maybe principals at schools or other folks in the community who know about students or youth who might need these, services but might not be able to afford them?
Yeah, initially that was a partnership with Horacio Vasquez funded through the county health with ARPA money that we've kind of extended into some other partnerships, more partnerships with county health. I think we could have more people writing these recreation prescriptions. I think it means a lot when it comes from a clinician or somebody, but we can definitely look into like recreation referrals for some of those programs. The after-school testimony you just heard is incredible. unfortunately, you know, the school has YEP money. We don't have a lot of after-school money. And I will say one time publicly to everybody in the room, if I wasn't getting $23 million a year of property tax taken out of my budget and give it to the stopgap, short-term, now 20-year ERAF fund, my life would be very different, and we'd have everything you wanted.
All right, and then my last question is, any update on La Vista Park?
Yeah, La Vista Park, the contract's been awarded. The engineering designs have been solved. The city and Hayward and Hard had a meeting about 2 weeks ago. We talked through it, walked through it. We got everyone's concerns and questions answered. And I think talking to Public Works Director Mary tonight, shovels in the ground probably 6 to 8 weeks maybe when the rain stops. There's a ton of grading to do there to move those flood retention basins into one better looking site.
Excellent. Fantastic work again. And please share our appreciation with everyone at your agency. Thank you, Mayor.
Council members Armenio.
Mayor, thank you, and most excellent job. Very good. All the pictures and the photographs were fantastic, and they were not stock. I commend you for working on Weeks Park. We actually spent about 6 years living right next to Weeks Park, so it's something that needs to be done, especially with our jewel of the Weeks Library there. Thank you also for Aranda's Garden. I think it's something that's very unique. It's actually appreciated by all those folks in our sister city of Arandas. And then I really have no questions, but I do want to make one recommendation for you to consider: a bocce pit at Eden Mansion.
We will do that.
That would be really great.
Yeah. We, my long-term vision for bocce, Castro Valley, I think, Silver Star, right? Silver Star and Kennedy Park all have bocce. If I had one more, I'd like to do qualifiers and have a citywide Hayward bocce tournament with the finals at Kennedy Park, and people qualifying through their regions. Watch out, those guys in Castro Valley are really good.
I have the material. My wife and I would like to play, but we don't want to go up to Stonebray. So if we have it right there at the Martin Mansion, excellent. And I thank you and all of your team.
Thank you very much. And it is my team. This is not me. This is like 5 great board members and a really good leadership team.
Good newsletters too.
Thank you.
Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim, for being here and giving this great presentation. I just want to thank you, first of all, for all the work you do, providing these wonderful parks all over, but also what you did to just say, how can we help when it was clear we were entering into a deficit. I mean, it's been amazing, the partnership that you've come to help us with the street fairs, the light up season was awesome, and everything else I know you're doing to partner with us to help us through this. And so thank you. I hope that work continues. I appreciate it. And then, some of the things I love seeing, I love to see that you're doing more shade canopies on especially the new parks, like just knowing that, we're dealing with hotter and hotter summers. I think that's really important, including the mist canopy that you did. Was that the Cherryland Park or Ashland? That was awesome.
I think it's Ashland Zocalo.
That was awesome.
Where we put a misters over the plaza because the park was designed to be large plaza, farmers markets, people in the neighborhood selling goods, and so.
Yeah, I just
keep it
think,
cool.
yeah, that you're focusing on that is so great. And then, the mental health work, the prescription RX is so important because just as a mom of now 2 teens, one just became a teen, it's so hard to get in-person therapy help for kids, right? It's impossible. It's all on Zoom, and most kids need to see somebody in person. So to do this work, given a different outlet for, that kind of need, I think is so important for Hayward and our surrounding community. So I love all that work that you're doing. Let's see, and then the question I had was about cleanup. So, in Hayward, we have Access Hayward, as we heard from one of the community members earlier. Is there does Access Hayward work with HARD? How does it get reported if somebody visits a park and sees a cleanup issue?
Well, our every single park gets visited by someone every single day, so it's not really the park problems. It's a place like Berry Street behind the community garden where there's apartments and people just dump and go. Every month someone moves in or out and we get stuff left behind. So I have to say the partners in the city at Public Works, the relationship continues to get better about, can you help us give stuff? Some of the homeless encampments have been tag teamed by everybody to work on, when we find just trash up in the Memorial Trail or something. So it's been a good partnership. I think, you know, we pick up everything out to the sidewalk and the gutter around our park. So,
Okay.
you know, I have to draw borders somewhere. But
Yeah, no, of course.
Yeah.
I'm glad you did. And then let's see. All right, you answered the plunge. I'm really excited about. Oh, is Bidwell going to get a basketball court? Because I know that basketball court that's at the park. Okay, great.
The capital planning director
Thank
is
you.
nodding affirmative.
Because I went to some of the early design issues, but that little basketball court that's there, that's all all sort of cracked and everything. It's really used there.
We just bought a used school over in Lower Castro Valley, you know, down up Grove, I think, and the asphalt in some of these places are terrible that we're inheriting, and it's all getting redone.
Yeah, awesome. Great. Thank you. That's it. Thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you for the doctors for being here, and thank you for all the staff and all the great work you're doing. Appreciate it.
I did want to mention on the greenways, the connectivity of the greenways. We actually were working with the city of Hayward. We tried to put in a grant application to see if we can make those safer, the crossings, lit crossings, all those things for better connectivity. I don't know about how we get an overpass over the train tracks, but maybe someday we'll be able to do that too. But we are working on the ADA, the pathways and accessibility of the greenways and their connectivity.
Thanks for asking that. Hopefully the community member heard that. Thank you.
I just wanted to give you all kudos for a fabulous presentation and fabulous work across the city and the region. I also want to thank you for being a partner with City of Hayward, not just in making sure we have great amenities for our residents, but also for events. And I do see you as not just our parks district, but our parks and events district. And wanted to know, is there a future plan on events? I know that you have dedicated a lot of resources to go towards events in our community, and just wanted to see if there's more of a strategic plan moving forward on events, because there's so many events already identified in your catalogs already. So just wanted to see if there's any type of future planning around more events that are partnering with Hayward.
I wish I could tell you that I have a strategic plans for special events. We kind of found ourselves about a year ago in this position where, how do we just help? Mm-hmm. So I feel like right now I'm putting my finger in the dike for special events. We did have, we have almost 50 small special events, touch a truck, big special events. Then we added the streets, we added the mariachi, we're adding Juneteenth. The backpack giveaway, the art and music festival for the school district. We're helping sponsor all of those. But yeah, I think there's more opportunity as we go to special events to figure out more that people want. They're kind of hit and miss. We're also helping with the All-American Festival again. We bought a stage. We bought a 6x19, a 9x16 LED screen. We have a climbing wall. We are gonna show 5 different World Cup viewings with that LED screen. It'll move into movie nights. It'll move into stuff. So we are kind of going that way. I feel like sometimes I have too many prongs out there. Our outdoor programming is booming with the challenge course and the 2 Go Hard vans, and we had kids up learning about orienteering and trekking and out in the woods this weekend. So it's pretty scattered, probably kind of like how my head works, but it's going. We seem to be going away, and I think a special event plan. Adrian Lee Bird came from Walnut Creek and Menlo Park, came out of the arts, and it's really something she likes to do. So I could see that thriving even more with people's feedback.
Great.
And planning. We didn't plan on spending $170,000 on special events this year. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, great.
We'll figure out how to support it.
Thank you so much for that. And then my last question is about emergency management plan, and just wanted to know, I know that you all are working together, but is there an opportunity to continue to work with the Public Safety Committee regarding emergency planning, just making sure that we're all in sync with those plans?
I'm not sure how the Public Safety Committee works, to be honest with you. I know Jose's probably familiar with it. For me personally, I didn't want to be the general manager of the district when the major disaster happens and I'm standing there going, what do we do? So we have put a ton of resources into emergency operation planning, EOC staff training, and now the next branch of this, I know the fire department just did an incredible shelter plan and all that. We have one that we do. I think the next thing we would want to do is get together with fire and talk about we registered them with the Red Cross. how do we make sure we get them open for you, and our staff that's trained in mass care and shelter can help integrate with you on how to have those shelters operate. So like I said, we're getting ready. We're looking at the job description this week, and it'll go to the board for that emergency management assistant that'll help us actually have the time to spend dedicated 40 hours a week on that for us in mutual aid, pre-purchasing agreements and things to be able to respond.
That would be great. And just the last thing I would just say is that I look forward to city staff continuing to partner with all of your agency staff to make sure we're moving forward on initiatives and working together positively. And I know that we've seen a lot of growth in your organization, and we look forward to more that HARD is going to do for the community. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Andrews. I think it's a little-known fact that our staffs actually met together, our department heads, the city department heads, for the first time in 7 years that I've been hanging around, and we talked about our common issues in a sense, and City Manager Ott and I spoke, and we're going to try to do that every other month, and then we're going to meet every other month. So every month we'll be connecting with City Hayward, tell them what we're working on, hearing what's going on, and where we have these common issues.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem Syra.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, General Manager Wheeler, for the report, and just echoing my colleagues' gratitude to you, your staff, the board of directors that's helping lead a phenomenal organization. I think HARD is a gem of the Hayward area, and it really makes the city and its residents very proud. So I'm just excited for you to have the opportunity not just to share your accomplishments and work with us, but to really celebrate it with the community watching. Just a few comments and thoughts. I wanted to echo Councilmember Andrews' suggestion that there's some coordination similar to how you came before the Council Infrastructure and Airport Committee. I do think it'd be worthwhile to maybe at least provide the Public Safety Committee with a report on how our emergency services are coordinating in times of emergency. So that's also direction for our city staff too, to hopefully help kick some of that reporting back to Public Safety, which operates like the Council on Infrastructure and Airport Committee. Just so, one of the things that came up during our last joint meeting was that people from the outside don't understand that HARD and the city of Hayward are two governmental issues. We're just the government to them. But I do think it behooves us to operate in a coordinated fashion as the government in the case of an emergency. So just really making sure that coordination is there. And I think the bi-monthly meetings are a way to help facilitate that conversation and hopefully get our staff to coordinate more as well. Does that sound reasonable to you?
I would welcome the opportunity to be more participative in the Public Safety Committee. It's a big emphasis of ours. We know there's crossover. The idea that we get support in the parks when things get bad, or rangers are out there unarmed dealing with people they can. They're sort of like park ambassadors. So how do we make that connection better and safer, and when we really need the help versus when we don't? But we have our whole bundle of, we were talking last week, our whole bundle of public safety data from all of our contacts in the parks, any citations we issued, it's now going in the hands of our analysts to start putting together, kind of like the heat maps we see in the annual city of police action and things. We're kind of doing that for our parks and trying to figure out, we know pretty much where our problems are, but what are the commonalities of those problems, and then how can we solve them with our partners?
Gotcha. Yeah, and I mean, on the topic of areas for collaboration, and maybe this is happening, what insight could we glean when we merge your data with the data that we collect as a police department to derive new approaches to addressing crime as a city? So I just wanted to get creative through this collaborative relationship that I think we're finally developing a good rhythm around. I'm really excited to hear that for the first time in 7 years we're making these strides to be in more regular contact. That's really encouraging. I think it's a good day when I'm looking at the parks in South Hayward and saying, why don't my parks look like that? So I think, a lot of residents never thought they'd see or hear the day, and I think it's really exciting just to see the investment we've made in parts of the city that don't typically see that level of investment. And the work that your team has done in the South Hayward area has been phenomenal. I've been to several of those ribbon cuttings, and every time I'm jealous that we don't have that in the North Hayward area, but I know it's coming.
We're getting there. Like I said, we identified the top 10 scoring and the 10 lowest scoring. We're bringing all the park supervisors, foremen, people in to talk about, like, why is that like that? Is it the truck, the worker, the use of that park? Yeah. So we're trying to get there. I think you'll see vast improvement. One of the things we didn't put in there, we spent $1.2 million on smart irrigation controllers. We formed a turf and irrigation team when SkyWest closed. We took some of those workers and we put them into making grass look better in the park because they're the experts. So we have about 7 guys now that work on turf and irrigation solely versus the park workers that are doing the rest. And I think we're starting to see it. The true test will be go out and tell me what you think in July when it's hot.
Okay, I'll follow up with you. And, you know, it's interesting to hear your ideas around group watch parties with your inflated screens. And I'm wondering if there's thoughts around how to use this as also an economic development tool in collaboration with the city, where we're showing these events closer to the downtown or at a park by the Tennyson Business Corridor. So that way we're also stimulating our local economy, creating a picnic-like atmosphere for these large, you know, group watch games that attract a lot of eyes. Is this already part of some of the initial thinking, or?
They're spread out over 5 sites. It's nothing centralized. There's some South Hayward, there's some San Lorenzo, and I think there's Castro Valley or in the thing, Tennyson. It's actually a 9x16 LED screen. You might have seen it light up the season. We're moving away from it's on a trailer. It'll go anywhere. It's LED. It's bright enough to be seen in broad daylight. So we plan on using it a lot. It's just again, I think we're kind of going fast and furious and getting these assets and putting in places and starting to plan them. But our stage, I think, went out like 17 times last year in its first year. So.
Yeah, got it. And then my last point of interest and a little bit of feedback here is that I'm really, I admire the data-driven approach you're taking to making decisions, understanding how you're using Placer AI and the ways in which you're collecting information about your different park sites to inform your next steps. I think is a really good example of data-driven decision-making in government. On the topic of, you know, kind of elevating our resources for our residents, the facility rentals are easy enough to book online, but I would like to see that digitized a bit more. Right now, I think you have to look at a form, download a form, and submit a form, and it's not too many more steps, but I think folks have an expectation of a more Google form-like experience when it comes to booking facilities, and we hear all the time a need and a desire for more facilities, and I let folks know HARD has plenty, and you just got to book them in advance. But trying to remove some of the friction in that booking experience would be my only point of feedback, having looked at all of your accomplishments, and I'm wondering if there's any progress being made on that front.
We have actually been out in the community talking to some of our Spanish-speaking communities, educating them on how the facility rental process works to make it easier. I know that last time we were here, you wondered about our registration system also. There's only a few registration systems that can do that facility booking in those programs in the country that can take the volume that we put on a registration day.
I see.
So we're kind of locked into that.
Okay.
We're happy to look at efficiencies. I have 3 people at a counter that answer the phone 9 hours a day to tell anybody how to rent a facility and actually do them for them online. That translates into Spanish. Our website just went PDF, 120, any language, it'll turn a PDF into translatable. So we're getting there to make it easier and more understandable for the community.
That makes sense, and you know, I'm getting older myself, but just speaking from a younger perspective, there's a number of folks that are younger than me that are deathly afraid of a phone call, right, and facilitate most of their interactions through a screen. So wanting to make sure that we have autonomous youth able to book facilities in a way that makes sense to them and that not being a barrier is just an element of providing responsive service, in my opinion, even if we have our own judgments as to whether or not they should be able to make a phone call. So it's just a note, but I appreciate the thought that's going into it.
I will say no judgment.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well, if Mayor Pro Tem Syrup is getting older, that means nothing. Forget it. I'm going to move on. Okay, Mr. Wheeler, thank you very much. I think we're good. I don't have any more questions, and just thank you very much. Everything you, did you have, okay, I didn't see your name on the board, but.
Yeah, because the button isn't there for some reason, or I lost it. Huh? Refresh it again? Okay, I'll try that.
It's okay. Go for it.
I'll be quick. I really just wanted to say thank you. You know, some of the early conversations that I've had with you and the board members, the request was, let's talk more. Let's partner more. And I just have to say the partnership that we've received from the Park District has just been outstanding. And I hope your feeling and the board's feeling and staff's feeling is that you're getting that back from us. Because really you're doing an outstanding job. Our community reflects that. You know, I often hear from members in our community, and it's something that I often say, that one of my favorite things about this area of the parks And, you know, it's not just a great place to be and show up and mingle with some other folks. It's you know, if Hayward is the heart of the Bay, parks are the heart of Hayward.
Well, thank you. Like I said, we like to think that 2 million people coming into Hayward to use parks is a good indicator, and we can give the economic development information of where they went before, where they went after through the place area algorithm. So I just want to thank you all very much. I want to thank City Manager Ott. I am so depressed because I live in Alameda that she's here, but I'm more excited that she's here. Just the first 3 weeks have been so refreshing, and so great choice. Great to have you back. Thank you all for everything.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's give Hart a big round of applause, just for, you know, just for. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so now I'd like to move on to our consent calendar. I have been asked to pull item number 4. So what I'll do is let me go to public comment, and I'll start with Alejandro Hasso for item number 4. And item number 4 is adopt the resolution approving plans, specifications, and call for bids for fiscal year 2026 pavement improvement project number 05347.
Can you hear me okay? Good evening again, Mayor and council members. Yeah, we wanted to bring this item for comment because unfortunately, even after these fatalities that we saw recently, like this paving plan does very little to improve safety. And you know, something we wanted to highlight is that drivers often feel a sense of entitlement to roads because they think that their gas taxes and their registration fees pay for the streets. But as you can see in this report, almost half of the money going to the repaving plan for 2026 comes from Measure BB. It's a sales tax. Everybody pays for it. Kids pay for it. Adults, seniors that don't drive pay for it. People that bike and don't have a car, you know, we also pay for it. But unfortunately, very little is going to be implemented for improving safety. So, you know, we want to make sure that this plan actually follows the bicycle and pedestrian master plan. Currently, like this repaving plan does not. It's only adding a few class 2 bike lanes, just painted bike lanes, when they were supposed to be protected bike lanes. It's also ignoring other infrastructure like on Main Street, where the city just completed a complete street project, but for this segment, which was supposed to have protected bike lanes, the current plan only repaves it and leaves it as it is without adding any bike lanes. And that's the heart of downtown. It should have protected bike lanes. Also, like, as we know, like there was a kid that was run over when crossing a street, a neighborhood street. And you know, that's in part because of the wide turning radius. We want to make sure that this repaving plan implements pedestrian safety improvements as well, and also brings our streets up to code, because there's been new laws that have been passed, like the daylighting law, and that requires no parking near the crosswalks or near the corners, just to make sure that there's clear visibility. And also the city could also implement bollards to ensure that there's a wide turning radius for cars, and they're forced to slow down before turning, so that, you know, we don't have kids being run over, you know, or just simply crossing the street. So we just want to demand that this contract tonight include the recommendations from the bicycle and pedestrian master plan for every single street undergoing rehabilitation, and then also for our high injury network, we want to make sure that at least, you know, there's something done to delineate the car lanes, because as you can see on Mission Boulevard, there's a right lane that's so wide that, you know, encourages people to speed up and like go super fast, when you could add a lane that could encourage drivers to slow down. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Ahmed Sharab.
Good evening again. I think Alejandro summarized it well. I'd just like to say, I'd like to urge the council to reject this item and ask the staff to come back showing how all the repavement plans are in compliance with the bike pedestrian master plan. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Tyler Dragoni.
So we started tonight very solemn and, heartfelt that we were going to do better. We were going to take the time and the effort to take serious the concerns that our bicyclists and pedestrians have navigating Hayward. Thank you, City Manager, for your comments. Those were great comments. But, the broader question is, do we mean it? Because the contract that's before you is not good enough. It's not even close. It doesn't follow your community vetted bicycle pedestrian master plan. Like, how could you approve it? Like it's not even in the right direction. It's in the wrong direction. So I'm just really concerned that we have our sincere feelings, but then we don't have the discipline to actually find ways to make our streets safer. So I'm just wondering, why this has not been, why does this plan not match the one that's already been passed by your council? We have a lot of suggestions on what we can do, as well as like making lanes narrower. That could have, if we take all 3 accidents that happened, the ability to narrow all of those lanes, sort of get at all of the, could possibly have, prevented those accidents that happened. We really want you to follow your own documents that you passed. Thanks.
Thank you. I don't have any more public comment, so I will come back to the dais, and I did not get any more requests to pull anything, and so I'll entertain.
I don't know if you can see my speaker comment there. On this
yes,
particular.
I did.
Okay,
So,
just wanted to stand.
Mayor Pro Tem Syrup. Yeah, I apologize.
Thank you. Director and Mary, would you mind helping us answer a few questions about the pavement improvement? Thank you. Great, thanks. So I had a similar concern just seeing that, in past years, we've done a pretty exemplary job at incorporating new bike lanes into the new pavement that we put across the city. And I also was a little alarmed that we were doing less than 2 miles of new bike lanes for what seems to be, I'm not sure what the total number of paved miles is going to be in this project. I was trying to look through the report. Can you share with me what the total mileage is versus the mileage of new bike lane being added?
I don't have the total mileage in front of me. I can provide that to you later. I can tell you that anytime there is an opportunity to add bike lanes when we do pavement improvement, we do that. We include bike lanes. In addition to the pavement improvement program, we also have separate improvement programs to add bike lanes in areas that we are working on to improve pedestrian and bike lane safety.
And so for a number of the lanes that are being paved where bike lanes aren't included, are you suggesting that there may already be bike lanes there, or you're not sure if they're appropriate for bike lanes?
In some locations, bike lanes exist in some sections, and we are extending the bike lanes to make connections to other existing areas.
Okay. And then in future iterations of pavement improvement projects, are we able to include where bike lanes currently exist? It seems like there's also, I understand where the concern is coming from because it looks like there's minimal changes being made to our bike network in the city. Or am I misreading the map and it shows where pre-existing bike lanes currently are?
So in this project, it just happens that the number of bike lanes are less than the amount of pavement that we are doing. Some of the pavement areas, council member, are in residential areas. So in residential areas, local residential areas, there is basically no need to add, striping for bike lane. Bike lanes can use those residential areas. These are streets that are, more higher level streets that require bike lanes. And in this case, in this project, we are adding about 2 miles of bike lanes.
I see, okay. And of the bike lanes being added, all of them are class 2 this time around. There was really no room whatsoever for us to have improved bike infrastructure as part of these repaving projects.
Yes, this project is class 2. Usually when there is a need for higher level class of bike lanes, there is a need to have specific projects, specific outreach, talking to neighborhoods, getting their comments.
Yeah.
This is a different set of projects.
Okay, understood. Those are the questions that I have for the time being. I'm happy to move items 2, 3, 5, and 6. And for future PIPs, I think having a bit better communication around the bike infrastructure going into these pavement projects is really important, so that we are demonstrating to the community that we are holding up our bike and pedestrian safety plan, and these pavement improvement projects are aligned with them appropriately. It's a lot of documentation to go. Yeah, do you have more you wanted to say?
No, I agree with you, but sometimes we have to coordinate with the neighborhoods and make sure that their wants, their needs, their information is taken into account. You may recall that Patrick Avenue had a bike lane that was supposed to be next to the curb. And there was an uproar from the neighbors when we did that. They did not want to have that. And we basically end up with a bike lane that had 2 buffers, 3-foot buffer on one side and 2-foot on the other side. One of the safest of that kind of bike lane that could be added, but we cannot just go ahead and what is in a master plan, which is basically a 30,000 view of the city, and implement all of those recommendations. We'll have to vet it, we'll have to discuss it with the neighborhood, with the community, hear from Bike East Bay, and implement something that is reasonable and works for everyone.
Yeah, okay, well, I appreciate the insight into the process, and I'm wondering if there's ways for us to look at and maybe modify our process so that we can incorporate some of that feedback leading into the next round of our pavement improvement program, so that it's not us paving things over, then going to the neighborhood, then repaving it over again, but more integrated as part of one holistic process. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you for answering my questions. Yeah, I'll move items 2, 3, 5, and 6, and I'll leave it to one of my other colleagues if they decide to move forward, but that's my motion for the time being.
Okay, so we have, hold on, let me go to the item. Okay, so back to the consent calendar. So we have Councilmember Andrews.
Director Amiri, I had a question regarding pedestrian safety with item number 4, and wanted to see what pedestrian safety measures, if any, will be incorporated in future plans of this. I know this is focusing on pavement, but are there any pedestrian plans in any of these areas that are going to be incorporated later on?
Absolutely. So the striping that is done for pavement improvement is going to help safety of pedestrians. But I have to mention that the funding that you see here are all for pavement improvement. There is a separate Measure BB fund that is for bike and pedestrian improvements, and that is exclusively used for that purpose. Those projects are going to focus on improving safety of pedestrians. This is not exclusively based on that, but the other project is exclusively based on improving bike and ped improvements.
Okay, thanks for clarifying. So when you do your outreach for those funds, they will include the bike and pedestrian infrastructure.
Correct.
And this is more focused on paving.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Zermanian.
Thank you, Mayor. And so the motion is going to be 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, not 4?
No, the motion is items 2, 3, 5, and 6.
Okay, all right. I was just wondering because I wanted to make a, I wanted to move.
And I guess we're going to we'll vote for 4 separately.
Okay, so I'll move on 4, but after we vote.
Okay. Okay, so, hold on. Moved by, hold on. So the motion, hold on a second. I'm trying to look at the screen here. Okay, so the motion is on the consent calendar is to move 2, 3, 5, and 6. Moved by Council members, or Mayor Pro Tem Syrup, seconded by Councilmember Goldstein. And then, Madam City Clerk, we can do a roll call, because...
Roll call, yes.
Yeah, a voice roll call.
Councilmember Andrews?
Aye.
Councilmember Bonilla?
Yes.
I think you are muted, Councilmember.
Yes.
Thank you.
Aye.
Thank you.
Yep.
Councilmember Goldstein?
Aye.
Councilmember Roach?
Aye.
Councilmember Syrup?
Yes, and I just want to note that the motion on the screen does not reflect the motion that we're making right now.
Correct.
Okay.
But just for the record, this is for items 2, 3, 5, and 6.
Great, thank you for confirming. Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Cermeño? Mayor Salinas?
Yes, and it unanimously passes. Next item is a consent calendar, item number 4. Hold on. Oh, is this?
Okay, let me just go and...
Okay. Oh, you did everything. Boom, boom. Okay. So next item is consent calendar, item number 4, and moved by Councilmember Cermeño. Seconded by Councilmember Goldstein, and Madam City Clerk, if you could take a voice vote.
I had another question.
Yes.
I wanted to know if there could be an amendment to the item to include revisiting the pedestrian bike safety plan in these areas. Is there any possibility to review those infrastructures in these facilities, even if we move with the pavement plan?
Sorry, Mayor, as I understand it, there's a proposed amendment to the motion on the floor. If the amendment is acceptable to the maker of the motion and the seconder, it can be added. But it does have to be consistent with the main motion.
So does the mover accept the amendment to have staff revisit, or the Public Works Department revisit the bike and safety plan, right? Is that what he said?
In these locations.
Yeah, in these locations specifically.
Well, I am looking at the map. Most of these areas that are going to be repaved are in cul-de-sacs.
Mm-hmm.
They're in residential areas where really a bicycle path is not necessary. So I'm going to decline the amendment.
Okay.
And it is over $13 million that it's not even that we can use for our payment. We have 252 miles of streets, and it's difficult to keep tabs on all of them. But I see the map, and the map clearly shows little cul-de-sacs here and there. So, thank you.
What I'd like to do is, let me say this. I want to support the motion, and I want to support the item, but I want to, in support with my colleague Councilmember Andrews, I would like to make an appeal to Councilmember Cermeño, to the motioner. I don't think revisiting the bike and safety plan for these particular streets is much. I think that could be part of the process as we do this, and at least we can, visit the plan. I don't think that's that difficult to do. So if you can accept it, that would be great. Okay, thank you.
I had a brief comment too.
Yeah, so let me just restate the motion. The motion is to adopt item number 4 as stated with the amendment to revisit the bike and safety plan as we look at these particular streets. So thank you. And then Mayor Pro Tem Saira.
Thank you. So I appreciate Councilmember Andrews' question asking what the BB funds will go toward, but I think where I'm a little bit confused is the total project cost is about $13 million, and 5 of that $13 million is Measure BB, and we're looking at less than 2 miles of bike infrastructure here. And so I'm just trying to understand, how are we getting $5 million of spend on a very insignificant portion of bike infrastructure?
Councilmember Saira, these monies are specifically for pavement improvement. They are not for bike lane improvement. They are not for sidewalk improvements or pedestrian improvements. We just happen to have the ability to stripe bike lanes on these new pavements.
Okay. You're saying this
there
BB
is
funding.
a different source of funding. I'm sorry. There's a different source of funding, Measure BB, for bike and ped, that pays for pedestrian improvements and bike lane improvements.
Okay, and you're saying within Measure BB, there's different tranches.
Correct.
And the tranche that you're using.
2 different separate measures.
Okay. And then I just want to say that I'm supportive of the amendment that's being suggested here because, Councilmember Zermeño, I hear your point. A lot of these are residential streets. But then when you look at, and correct me if I'm wrong, but on the last page, I believe it's the Eden Shores neighborhood. And that's a massive road that cars drive through that would benefit from having some bicycle infrastructure because it's one of maybe 2 ways in and out of that entire neighborhood. And so to limit that only ingress and egress of that neighborhood to just fast driving cars really does a disadvantage to all the people that live in there to not have that kind of bike infrastructure. So, I mean, it's difficult for me to I think you understand the desire that I'm communicating. It's difficult to understand how quickly this is going to move forward the second this resolution is or isn't passed. But my sincere hope, whether or not I'm supportive of this, is you look at these major arteries and think, okay, it sounds like maybe there is a little bit more room here for us to implement some bike paths because the 2 miles that are suggested on just 4 specific strips feels really lacking for where I think there are places for us to include additional bike lanes.
We can do that.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. And before we vote, I did want to say, I wanted to just acknowledge on the Council Airport and Infrastructure Committee, I got Councilmember Andrews and Mayor Pro Tem Saira. And we have been wrangling through these issues for quite some time now. And I think the central issue that we have been talking about, not only in the Infrastructure Airport Committee, but what we have been dealing with up here, and clearly what we've been dealing with, over the last 10 days, is speeding, right? And cars are driving too fast. We're seeing it, and people aren't only speeding in the main corridors, Jackson and A Street and Tennyson and Harder and Mission and Hesperian, but we're also seeing speeding all over in the residential neighborhoods, and so that's why I'm glad Councilmember Andrews added this, and I appreciate Councilmember Zermeño being amenable to this. So with that said, Madam City Clerk, if we could take voice roll call.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember Andrews? Aye. Councilmember Bonilla Jr.?
Yes.
Councilmember Goldstein?
Yes.
Councilmember Roach?
Yes.
Councilmember Saira?
Abstain.
Abstain. Thank you. Councilmember Zermeño? Mayor Salinas?
Yes, and the item passes with 6 aye votes and 1 abstention. Next. Next item is a public hearing, and this is PH 26-008. It is public hearing pursuant to Government Code Section 3502.3 to receive a report on City of Hayward vacancies and recruitment and retention efforts recruitment and retention efforts. Report will come to us by way of our Human Resources Director, Ian Texon. And you have a colleague with you.
Yes, thank you and good evening, Mayor, Council, and everyone here. Presenting with me tonight is Selena Flores, HR Manager over Recruitment, and this report is a public hearing in compliance with Assembly Bill 2561. As a refresher and overview, Assembly Bill 2561 was signed into law on September 22nd, 2024, and effective January 1st, 2025. The city's first public hearing in compliance with this bill occurred last year on June 3rd, 2025. Assembly Bill 2561 requires public agencies to hold a public hearing prior to adoption of the budget to report on staffing vacancies, recruitment efforts, retention strategies, hiring challenges, and if a bargaining unit has a vacancy rate over 20%, upon request by the union, public agencies will provide additional data specific to that bargaining unit. AB 2561 also provides bargaining groups with the opportunity to present their input. At the end of this report, we'll ask the mayor to open the floor for any bargaining unit that wishes to present. And tonight's public hearing complies with AB 2561 for this fiscal year. For purposes of reporting, all vacancies that occurred during this fiscal year are included as part of the vacancy rate calculations, since these positions are still part of the current fiscal year's adopted budget. Permanent changes will be considered as part of the budget review process proposed for adoption in the upcoming budget cycle. Additionally, part of tonight's report will include information above and beyond the requirements of this bill, where data will be shared related specifically to vacancies resulting from layoffs, separations, as well as vacancy numbers within the general fund. All data used to inform tonight's presentation is from July 1st, 2025, up to January 30th, 2026. And with that, I'll hand it over to HR Manager Flores for some data.
All right, good evening, Mayor and Council members. I'm Selena Flores, the Human Resources Recruitment Manager. Before we begin reviewing the data in this presentation, I would like to briefly clarify a few key definitions that the city uses when calculating and reporting vacancy rates. These terms are referenced in the table before you and are also outlined in the AB 2561 staff report. First, budgeted FTEs, full-time equivalents. They represent the total number of regular FTEs adopted in the current fiscal year budget. Second, total positions refers to the total number of regular full-time and part-time positions allocated to approved classifications. And a viable vacancy is defined as a funded, authorized, regular position that is currently vacant and available to be filled. And finally, the vacancy rate is calculated by dividing the number of viable vacancies by the total number of positions. Now we will focus on vacancy data. This table reflects workforce activity from July 1st, 2025 through January 30th of 2026. The city's organizational structure is comprised of 12 distinct departments in addition to the mayor and the city council, all working collaboratively to deliver a wide range of essential services to the community. The city maintains 956.3 budgeted full-time equivalents, a total of 977 authorized positions, and 135 viable vacancies. During this reporting period, the city hired 26 new employees, promoted 39 employees, and experienced 93 separations. As a result of this workforce activity, the city's overall vacancy rate as of January 30th, 2026 stands at 13.82%.
All right, so you can see the bottom portion of this slide. This information is above and beyond the requirements of AB 2561, where separations through layoffs, the Voluntary Separation Incentive Program, and other separations are shown in that bottom table. You'll see the number of vacancies as a result of each one there.
Okay, this following table provides a breakdown of vacancy data by bargaining group. From left to right, it displays the bargaining group, the number of budgeted full-time equivalents, FTEs, total authorized positions, and the number of viable vacancies. The corresponding vacancy rate for each group is shown on the right as of January 30th, 2026. This table also represents vacancy data for the city's unrepresented employee groups. Similar to the previous table, it displays the employee group on the left, followed by the budgeted FTEs, total authorized positions, and viable vacancies. The corresponding vacancy rate for each group is shown on the right as of January 30th, 2026. As noted in previous slide 3, the combined vacancy rate across these two groups is 13.82%, and at this time, no individual represented group has reached or exceeded a vacancy rate of 20%. Both tables presented tonight are also included in the AB 2561 staff report for reference.
All right, so this table showcases data also that is above and beyond the requirements of AB 2561, where vacant positions either funded in part or in whole through the general fund are listed by bargaining unit. Out of the current 135 vacant positions, 94 are funded either in part or in whole through the general fund.
Okay, this last slide reflects recruitment activity and efforts during the reporting period of July 1st, 2025 through January 30th of 2026. During this time, the city initiated 37 recruitments, including 7 promotional opportunities, and received 2,564 applications. These efforts resulted in the establishment of 62 eligibility lists and the filling of 65 vacancies. These vacancies were filled through open and promotional recruitments, as well as utilizing already established eligibility lists. During this period, the city implemented a series of targeted recruitment strategies to address staffing needs and improve overall hiring outcomes. And we'd like to highlight a few of these key recruitment efforts and challenges for you this evening. As part of an effort to remain competitive in the challenging labor market, hiring incentives were utilized for hard-to-fill public safety classifications. However, effective January 2026, these incentives were discontinued to support expenditure reduction efforts. We also focused on streamlining recruitment efficiencies by implementing additional fiscal checks and balances throughout our recruitment process and hiring workflow to ensure more thorough financial review of vacancies prior to advertising. This helps align hiring activity with budgetary oversight. The city also continues to focus on elevating the candidate experience by strengthening communication, improving transparency, and streamlining recruitment and onboarding processes. Efforts include providing timely status updates, setting clear expectations at each stage, and identifying opportunities to reduce delays, ensuring candidate experiences are more efficient, responsive, and welcoming from initial application through onboarding. In addition, we regularly assess job classification and compensation structures to ensure positions remain competitively benchmarked and that duties are accurately aligned and appropriate job titles and market conditions. As part of our ongoing recruitment strategy, we will continue to build strong community partnerships to expand our talent pipeline by engaging with local organizations, schools, and universities through recruitment events, career guidance, and candidate preparation support. Most recently, we participated in the Community Hub, which was offered by the Hayward Public Library as a full-service one-stop center for members of the community to access City of Hayward and the community partner services. Recruitment staff participated by providing general advisement and guidance with resume reviews, job search support, and navigation through the city's hiring website and process. With respect to recruitment challenges, public safety positions continue to require extended hiring timelines due to mandated background investigations, as well as medical and psychological evaluations and academy training requirements. While these processes lengthen time to hire, they are essential to ensuring regulatory compliance and upholding public trust. In addition, public safety agencies statewide are competing within an increasingly limited candidate pool. Factors such as retirements, evolving workforce expectations, and heightened qualification standards continue to narrow the pool of eligible candidates. Thank you.
All right, this concludes our report, and we ask the mayor to open the floor to any union that wishes to present.
Thank you. Okay, I want to come back up here to the dais first, and Councilmember Andrews. Oh. No, you don't. Okay. Councilmember Roach.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. I just wanted to ask you, sort of for public, consumption, that how we just went through a round of layoffs and we're still hiring. If you could just give sort of a summary of the kind of positions that are necessary to keep hiring while we're in the position that we're in with, having just gone through some layoffs. So thanks.
Yeah, hiring right now is prioritized to positions that are hard to fill. So right now we're looking at public safety positions whose recruitment cycles are very long. So the lead time to hire someone and get them prepared through training and all the background processes can be upwards of a year to over 18 months or 2 years in some cases. So those are the recruitments that you'll see online that require that lead time. In addition, we have recruitments that are online that are not funded through the general fund. So those are enterprise funded positions.
Okay, thank you for saying that. I just wanted to make clear that, we're not being, so did you want to add something else?
No, I just wanted to clarify, we do need to open it up to the unions to be able.
Oh, even before we ask questions, we're supposed to do that first? That's okay, I'm done. Thank you, that's all I wanted.
Do you want that done?
Thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, I think we're supposed to do that first and then go to council. Yeah.
Okay, and that's why the Director of Human Resources said go there first, right? Okay. So I will open up for public comment for union representative comment. So I'll have Michelle in. I'm just assuming that.
Hi, hi, yes, thank you. I'm Michelle Nogales. I have been a librarian at the Hayward Public Library for 10 years now and a proud member of Local 21. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. I wanted to talk today about moral injury. According to the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health, a moral injury is the psychological harm incurred from committing, witnessing, or being subject to actions that violate one's moral code. This has been officially recognized by the American Psychiatric Association as a mental health condition, and the library workers are suffering a moral injury right now from what has already happened because of decisions that the council and mayor have already made around the budget deficit. We are there at the library to provide our community with opportunities for lifelong learning. We help our Hayward parents and caregivers provide their kids with pre-literacy and early literacy education. We give kids nonfiction books so they can learn about the world from facts, and fiction books so they can learn about the world from stories. We give unsheltered folks a place out of the weather where nobody is trying to sell them anything and where we can just talk to them like people. We teach our elders how to navigate the legal and health systems. We, with our cultural programming and our materials, we offer the people of Hayward mirrors that show them their own cultures and windows that show them other people's cultures. We host free health clinics for unsheltered folks and for veterans. We help everyone in our community make their dollars stretch further in this economy by giving them free access to books, newspapers, magazines, movies, music, educational databases. And when our ability to do these things is diminished, we receive a moral injury. Because we have lost staff already, we have lost, like other departments, our on-call employees. In addition to that, we have lost several full and part-time library workers in the last couple of months. Because we lost so many of our workers, we have lost our Mondays. The library is now closed on Mondays, and that diminishes our ability to provide all of the things I just listed. Losing our staff members also means that everybody is spread so thin. Those of us who have public-facing duties spend up to 50% more time every day at those public-facing duties, which means we cannot be spending time planning programs, buying materials, educating people, all of that is decreased the more we spend on the desk. And it can be even worse than that. If just one person calls in sick, everybody's schedule is impacted. Most departments are seeing these problems, I know. At the library, it has just gotten so hard because we've had to lose our ability to provide our public with these important services. And just to add insult to that injury, our part-timers have already had a de facto pay cut of up to 33%. Imagine a third of their paychecks is gone now because they cannot have the additional hours that we counted on having, that they counted on having.
Ms. Nogales,
Yes.
I apologize for stopping you for a moment, but, so your time is up?
Oh, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Are there any other union representatives who would like to speak? I see Emily Wallace online.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council members. Emily Wallace, staff representative with IFPTE Local 21. While we certainly appreciate the work that went into the city's vacancy report, we know that our Local 21 members in Hayward don't need a report to understand the impact of the city's vacant positions. Our members feel this impact every single day that they come to work. Since the start of this fiscal year, the citywide vacancy rate increased from 10.4% to 13.8%, and total budgeted vacancies grew by 31.6 full-time equivalents. Hayward City workers deliver emergency services, they run our libraries, they keep our drinking water safe and clean, and they provide family counseling services to our most vulnerable populations. The work that they do matters, and yet they have continually been asked to do more with less. In certain divisions, our members report that they've been doing the work of 3 to 4 people. Just only looking at our library and community services division, position vacancies grew from 3% to 16.7% over this fiscal year. The city is currently budgeting approximately $12 million in vacancy savings. These position vacancies are widely and deeply felt, not just by the city workers who deliver Hayward's public services, but also by the community that depends on those services. Our city workers have been picking up a significant amount of slack. It has created low morale and burnout across our departments and our teams. City Council has a responsibility to ensure that our departments are fully staffed and fully resourced for the good of the Hayward community. We'll remind you that this city does not run without our city workers. We ask that you staff up and you protect Hayward's public services. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Do any more union representatives want to speak? Seeing none, I'd now like to go to public comment. And if I don't have any cards, and there's no one online, so I'd like to close public comment.
There's a Nora Huntley that just showed up.
Nora Huntley. I'll open up public comments. Or, I'm sorry, I'm going to reopen union representatives. Is Nora Huntley a union representative?
Yes, she is. I guess the question is whether or not she wants to speak.
Yeah, do you want to
So
speak?
there are union representatives that are watching or in the, and they may not choose to speak, but under state law, we're required to offer them the opportunity to speak. So I guess maybe if any of the union reps online would like to speak, may they just make sure they raise their hand, and we can be sure to call them. She
Okay,
did raise her
Nora,
hand.
go ahead.
I believe she raised her hand, but now she lowered it.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I'm going to close public comment, and I'm going to close union representative comment, and I'll return to the dais. Mayor Pro Tem Syrup.
Thank you. I'll keep my comments brief. I just wanted to appreciate the work that went into generating this report. I'm also grateful that this report is now mandated by law. I think coming into council, wanting to better understand our vacancies was information I kind of had to request ad hoc multiple times. So I'm happy that we're developing a regular practice around understanding where our vacancies are. I think it helps us make more effective decisions as a city around staffing questions. And I also just wanted to acknowledge the work that you're doing on the Personnel Commission, because I know a number of our commissioners ask for this information too. My hope would be maybe we could share this report with our commissioners, just because it's relevant, I think, to some of the questions they ask during those meetings. But yeah, thank you again for that work. And I just also want to thank the union representatives online and the folks that are here as well for the work that they do and alongside their members for the city of Hayward. I know we're in a difficult time with this budget deficit, and we have a work session this Saturday to really get into the weeds. But your comments do not fall on deaf ears, and we are working around the clock to try to get through this together. So thank you for everything you do for Hayward.
Thank you. Councilmember Goldstein.
Yes, thank you. I want to echo those same sentiments. We absolutely value and appreciate the work that every person on staff brings to this city. Can't say enough about that. So dealing with the budget issues, it's tough for all of us. And, you know, we're doing what we can to try to save positions, and but it's a tough discussion. And I appreciate the report from staff, but I do have a question for the city manager, and that is, will the costs for these positions be included in the budget discussions?
So in the budget discussions, the report went out today, and you'll see that there are line items related to significant vacancy management savings. And so the vacancies that you see in this report are, in general, I mean, the general fund ones are being captured in the budget. So we are assuming that we're maintaining those vacancies moving into next fiscal year. If they're enterprise vacancies, then obviously they're not captured. And then there's some police positions, because the hiring there is much more fluid and takes a longer time. So it's a little harder to pin down the exact police hiring. But for all other general fund positions, we're capturing significant vacancy savings in our budget, in the budget numbers and forecasts that we'll talk about on Saturday.
So the budget savings are included. What I'm asking is, do we have a number where we need to be in order to fill these positions?
I mean, I think what we've told department heads, and maybe this is what you're asking, so let me try, but we have asked them, based on the current positions, including the vacancies, that's kind of their new normal in terms of budget. Like, that is the budget they need to work towards for next fiscal year. We're not wanting to increase costs. We're wanting to continue to capture the full amount of those vacancy savings moving forward. We have told them that if within that budget amount, if they need to restructure personnel a little bit or do some things just to be more efficient or more strategic in some way, then my budget directions are that there could be some new positions hired or other ones underfilled, as long as they're staying within it's cost neutral, and they're staying within the budget that they have for this fiscal year.
Okay, but we have a number of positions that we want to fill, and we don't have a budget number that would fill those seats.
I mean, the budgets for each of the departments that are in our financial software, that is their budget for the departmental budget. So how much exactly, if you're asking what's the salary and benefits for each department, but they're given a departmental budget, and so they're having to stay within that budget amount based on this current fiscal year.
Okay, I think I understand.
Yeah.
So the numbers included, we know that there's staffing needs there, and they have a budget number that they're working towards, and right now we're accounting for that as budget savings, but at some point we need to turn that around and actually let them hire.
I'm not sure I don't know, I think that I guess maybe this is where I'm not sure we're going to be hiring again in the general fund, at least in most departments for a while. I think we're essentially, this is a strange scenario. What we're doing here is because we're trying to comply with state law, which is trying to encourage local governments to hire. by putting a spotlight on vacancies. We're in this transitional position where we're essentially restructuring our workforce, and our new normal may be a reduced workforce. So we have a 15% reduction in workforce. That may be our new number, and so we'll be looking as part of next fiscal year, some of those positions will essentially just be eliminated.
Oh, I see. So some of
The
what we're
vacancies,
seeing here.
right? I'm talking about the vacancies. I don't want to skip, but the vacancies may just be eliminated. Now that department has that many fewer people in their department. So we're in this transitional period where we actually have high vacancy, but that was intentional, right? Because that was a mechanism for saving money. And now the budget for next year is going to readjust what those positions need to be longer term, which is going to be fewer positions. So next year, presumably, we'll have a lower vacancy rate because we will have adjusted the number of positions, permanent positions.
Okay, thank you for taking the time
Does
to
that, I'm
explain
sorry, and I know it's confusing, but did I get that right? Okay.
Okay, I'm happy with that answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Zermeño.
Mayor, thank you, and thank you for the report. I like this. I like the way it was presented, and the numbers are excellent, and I'm hoping that we can get this maybe on a quarterly basis, just so that I and we can know what is going on with our workforce. So put that in your notes, please. Was it a typo, over 2,500 applicants? That many?
Yes, on average, we do get a lot of applications. Last year, we got a lot more, so it kind of did go down this year. Yeah,
Wow.
due to the hiring, but
It's amazing.
it
Yeah.
is.
And I just sent over 3 new people this last week who were looking for a job. I said, well, go over to 3rd floor of City Hall, maybe then fill out an application. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Let's see, I don't have any more speakers up here, so I will, entertain a motion.
No motion necessary on this
Oh,
one.
that's
It's just to receive a report.
Okay. Okay. Man, this was a very weird public hearing. Okay. All right. So I will move on to public reports and announcements. I hope there's none. I'm kidding. Seeing none, there are no. Oh, there is a cleanup.
I don't have the location on me, but I think a
Longwood.
cleanup is
Longwood
it Longwood? Yes,
Longwood
it is
Elementary School.
Longwood.
Yeah.
A Clean and Green Commission cleanup. We will be at our budget meeting, but want to let the community know that the cleanup will happen at Longwood at 8:30 to 12.
Thank you. Seeing no more, there are no council referrals, and then our next meeting will be Saturday, February 28th, this Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, meeting adjourned.
Thank you.